Involved viewers, welcome to Planet Earth, our loving home. My name is Fong Fong, sending you loving greetings from beautiful Hong Kong. This week, our focus is the overwhelming amounts of plastic inundating our precious oceans and causing severe damage to marine ecosystems worldwide. Aside from describing the mind-boggling enormity of the plastic problem, we will offer some ideas on minimizing the amount of plastic waste we produce to lessen the load on our life-rich oceans. Plastic is very inexpensive, easy to produce, light, and can be used in an incredible amount of ways. However, with all these benefits, there are enormous costs. It is estimated that about half of all plastic is used just one time and then discarded. The common plastic shopping bag is actually used on average for 15 minutes before being thrown away, and our pace of plastic consumption is rapidly increasing. Almost unimaginably, in the past decade, more plastic has been made than in the entire 20th century. In 2014, over 100 billion plastic beverage bottles were sold in consumers in the US, and 57% of those containers were water bottles. Of the staggering 207 million metric tons of plastic produced globally each year, approximately 4 to 13 million metric tons end up in our oceans. Given the gigantic volume of plastic continually entering the waters, our beautiful seas are now an immense rubbish bin that no one empties. There is practically no space free of this material, with an almost incomprehensible 5.25 trillion plastic particles in our oceans and approximately 244,000 metric tons of plastic floating on the surface. If one were to examine every square kilometer of ocean on average, 4 billion plastic microfibers would be found. Certain areas of the ocean have greater than normal concentrations of plastic because of gyres, or giant oceanic vortexes, with the North Pacific subtropical gyre having one of the biggest amounts of marine debris. It is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
What is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch? Well, first, let's talk about what it's not. It's not a floating island of trash like a garbage dump or a landfill. It's also not the only patch. They exist all throughout the ocean, and the Pacific Garbage Patch just happens to be the most famous. Garbage patches are large areas of marine debris concentration that are formed by rotating ocean currents called gyres, kind of like big whirlpools that suck things in. A garbage patch is made up of tiny plastic pieces called microplastics that are less than 5 millimeters long. It's more like pepper flakes swirling in a soup than something you can skim off the surface. You might come across some larger items like plastic bottles, but it's possible to sail through a garbage patch and not see anything. And they're a big problem for the ocean and us. People often ask why we can't just scoop up all the marine debris in the ocean. And the answer is, unfortunately, it's just not that simple. The first challenge is the sheer size of these garbage patches. They're huge. They're constantly moving with ocean currents. And there's debris from the ocean surface all the way down to the sea floor. Not to mention all the marine life we would disrupt if we tried to just scoop up debris.
Plastic does not magically go away after we discard it. Scientists believe a plastic bottle takes between 400 and 1,000 years to degrade, and the pervasive plastic shopping bag can take 10 to 1,000 years to decompose. And in the meantime, the biggest victims are the marine animals.
How does marine debris impact the ocean, animals, and me? Would you want to swim in a beach littered with trash? Of course not. And the animals who live in the ocean don't either. The difference is, they don't have a choice. Marine species often get tangled in debris, from fishing nets to six-pack rings. If they get caught, they could get injured or even die. And even if they don't get entangled, many animals mistake plastic debris for food and eat it. This fills their stomach with junk they can't digest. Debris can also damage important habitats, like coral reefs, by breaking or smothering them. Corals serve as the base of the marine ecosystem, and impacts here can be felt all the way to you and me.
As we just saw, plastic may be mistakenly eaten by animals like turtles, whales, seals, fish and birds and result in injury or death from conditions like intestinal blockage. Researchers calculate at least 267 marine species have been adversely affected by plastic debris. A study found that 1/3 of sea turtles globally have eaten some kind of plastic. In the North Pacific, it's estimated that roughly 11,000 to 22,000 metric tons of plastic are consumed yearly by fish living in the waters. It is also thought that nearly all lace and albatross chicks, which also live in the North Pacific, have ingested plastic as their parents mistake plastic for food. Scientists say about 60% of other seabird species have consumed plastic at some point in their lives. Not all plastic is visible to us or the animals. Microbeads, just a few millimeters in size, are found in cosmetic and personal care products like toothpaste, face scrub, and body washes, and are extremely destructive to the environment. These plastic particles have a fast track into our waterways and oceans through sewer drains and are causing enormous harm to the oceanic animals. Aside from being a threat by themselves, microbeads may absorb toxic chemicals present in the waters, like DDT, PCBs, and flame retardants, making the material even more dangerous. Fish think the microbeads are food, eat them, and sometimes are sickened as the beads block their digestive system. And plastic isn't just a hazard because they mistake it for food. Sea animals can also get entangled in plastic. Entanglement may result in the inability to evade predators, feed, digest food, reproduce, or even swim about in general. We just found out about the massive impact of producing and consuming plastic in all of its forms. When we return, we will learn how we can reduce the use of plastic materials. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to Supreme Master Television. We all live on the same planet and are all responsible for protecting it. So it is important that we learn about the ways to reduce our daily impact on the environment.
Solutions. How can we address the plastic pollution overloading our oceans?
So what can we do? Well, the ultimate solution is prevention, and we need to keep that as our highest priority. We can reduce, reuse, and recycle to keep trash out of the ocean in the first place. And we can participate in things like shoreline cleanups. It's a lot easier to deal with debris before it gets to the ocean. Because until we stop marine debris at the source, we'll just be cleaning it up forever.
As we just heard, reducing, reusing, and recycling plastics are key steps to lessening the burden on our seas. For instance, when shopping, choose products that come in glass and use cloth instead of a plastic bag. Avoid purchasing cosmetic and personal care products with microbeads. You can identify products free of microbeads through online research. With takeout restaurants, your order may be given to you in a plastic bag. The food could be in a plastic foam container, accompanied by plastic utensils. Drinks may come in plastic cups with plastic lids and straws, and condiments in small portion plastic cups. Combining it all together, you have a huge amount of waste generated just from one meal. You can ask the restaurant to skip many of these items and ask if you can use your own containers, particularly for drinks. Also choose to patronize those restaurants that are green and use eco-friendly packaging. When you must discard plastic packaging or items made of plastic, make the effort to see if there are opportunities to recycle in your community. Some cities have household pickup of glass, metal, and plastic for recycling. Plastics are composed of many different kinds of materials, and some varieties are not recyclable. In the US, plastic may be marked with the number 1 through 7 to help consumers identify the plastic type and facilitate recycling. Another proactive approach is to ask your local, regional, or national government to take measures to reduce plastic pollution. Did you know that Rwanda banned all plastic bags in 2008 and that Kenya did the same in August 2017? India's National Capital Territory of Delhi banned cutlery, bags, cups and other forms of single-use plastic in 2016. Write and talk to your government officials about legislation to prohibit single-use plastic and lessen plastic consumption. Talk to friends and family about how plastics are overwhelming our oceans and ask them to also voice support for such laws. Lastly, you can join in events to remove plastic and other debris from local waterways or beaches. Get in the green spirit and make your community part of the solution. To close, today we've learned about the enormous amount of plastic waste generated each day and how our oceans and marine life are seriously suffering as a result. The fact that plastic has a lifespan of hundreds of years or more compounds the problem. Raising awareness of the issue and actions like reducing plastic consumption and banning single-use plastics are ways to ease the burden on our seas. Technology may also bring a partial solution in the future, with much research currently being conducted on biodegradable plastics. Finally, our thanks to the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration for providing invaluable information to the public on protecting our oceans.
For more information on plastic marine debris, please visit www.youtube.com/user/US-Ocean-Gov.
Benevolent viewers, thank you for joining us on Planet Earth, Our Loving Home. Coming up next is Words of Wisdom after noteworthy news. May we all strive to lead simple, green and noble lives. For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/PE.